So to communicate, one of the biggest things to understand is that the trouble with communication generally isn't about articulation, although there are some guidelines for articulation that I will give you, but they're very basic. The main problem with communication is listening. So I want you to become, if you want to become a good communicator, you have to become a good listener. The first person that you have to stay connected to is yourself. You have to open up a channel, literally like, like a news reporter has that thing in the ear. But, they're probably listening to somebody else, but I want you to be able to listen to yourself and to be able to consult with yourself and be clear about what you're about to share before you share it. Don't use the time where you are in front of your person to brainstorm what it is that you're saying, that while you're conversing, you're, organizing your thoughts. Don't do that. There are 3 components to communication that I'm going to tell you, and what I'm describing is heart-centered communication. The first component is seeing the loving essence, and then I'm going to speak about the other 2. The second one is heart-centered listening, and the third one is perception checking. These 3 combined together work in orchestra to create a very beautiful communication where you can talk about something that's really, really, really difficult. When I'm trying to put families together after 10, 15 years, when people are trying to have conversations about the future of the relationship, something really, really dire, this is what I do with them. And so this is something that you can try with yourself. And if you're trying this on your own as a couple, I want you guys to make a pact that you will, instead of being on opposite sides, you're going to get on the same side of the table and you're going to help each other. Almost like, hey, we're smart people. Why can't we figure this out? So we're gonna be able to do this, to begin there. And even during the communication, you said in the very beginning, you said, hey, by the time we end this communication, this conversation, we want to have a peaceful evening. We don't want to be upset at each other. You want to set that goal beforehand. You want to know where you're going to go before you start, so that if during the communication you're going and veering away different places, you can set that yourself back onto that track. Now, as far as the 3 magic things that make up this communication, seeing the loving essence means the light in me sees the light in you, meaning an overall understanding of the universal fact that everybody has a soul within them. Even somebody who's in jail for mass murder has the capacity for love. Of course, that has a muscle that needs to be reintegrated, but we're all born that way. So that is the first, seeing somebody, choosing to see somebody. If you come to a conversation already decided that this person is a criminal, this person is everything that I know them to be, so you are not giving this person a fresh start. And to see yourself as a loving being who is here working through their curriculum, and you don't have to be perfect, and neither the other person is. And just being present to the being that's inside you and that's inside the other person, that's greater than the outward personality or the drama that another person is bringing. So that's the first, seeing beyond the person level, seeing at the soul level, choosing, making a choice. It's a choice that you make to see the goodness in another person. That's the setup. That is almost like creating the culture and the environment. You start there. And the way to start there is not about seeing another person, is to first connecting to your own goodness inside you that gives you stability, your own soul. Because once you start there, then you're able to see another person there too. And when you are not able to see that in another person, what I want to tell you is that you're also missing the point in seeing that in yourself, because we are projectors in relationships. We just project what's inside us. And this is something that you can do. It's a choice that you make. That's the first, seeing the loving essence. The second one is heart-centered listening. Drs. Ron and Mary Hulnick have a book, Loyalty to Your Soul and Remembering the Light Within. This describes this. And the second thing is heart-centered listening. You center into the loving of your heart And then you invite the other person to do the same. Suppose the other person doesn't want to do it, that's fine. But when I do it, I tell everybody to close their eyes, gently close their eyes so they can shut off everything outside. Take a deep, deep inhale. And I do the first one just so that I can get out of that thing. So I'll just hold it at the top of your breath for as long as you can hold it. And when you're ready, you exhale. Then in the second breath, I want you to bring to your mind's eye an image of something that makes your heart smile. Maybe this is a child. Maybe this is a moment in time. Maybe this is a scenery. Whatever it is, it's an image from your memory bank that makes your heart smile. Bring it forth and allow yourself to deeply engage with it. As you take a breath in, recalling that image, allowing the beauty and the details of that image to infuse you as you take your inhale in, holding your breath, engaging with that image, allowing it to open your heart, and noticing how complete you are when you are connected to this image. And then allowing yourself to exhale, and with the exhale, allowing yourself to let go of anything that doesn't serve you. You can do one more inhale to infuse the experience of what it is that you have chosen as your love image, as I call it. This is the place of your heart. This is where the wisdom is. This is where the stability is. This is where you are going to stay centered in throughout the conversation. These two things are setups. Can you believe how much setup is required? Can you understand how much we have to set ourselves up in order to in order to communicate? Because this is when you're not connected to something greater within you, you're going to keep on slipping. So once you've done that, and I want to say also, the heart is the place where your wisdom is. Emotions live out there somewhere with your ego. This is not where the emotions are. I know people will say, oh, but when I got hurt, my heart hurt. That's because you had so much residue from the whatever it was that was hurting you that you weren't able to get into your heart. That's why it was hurting. But heart has wisdom. And it is what centers you. It's not what throws you off. Now, the last part is one of the most important parts. It was very annoying for me when I was working with myself, because I just wanted to rush, and especially when I'm angry. One of the marks of getting angry is that we become urgent. And these are the two ways to recognize that you are in your ego and what you're saying is really not you. It's a version of you, and you're going to probably regret it. Urgency and threat. And many times they come together in one sentence, like, if you don't do this, then that'll happen. If you don't hurry up and do this, that'll happen. So you don't want to, you want to know that in this communication, it's you, it's the actual you that's communicating, not a version of you that is compensating for the fear that you have. Perception checking is about listening to somebody say what they're saying from a place of wanting to understand them, and not from a place of, I'm using this time while you're speaking to do rebuttals in my head. I have already made up an idea in my mind. When I was younger, I couldn't do this part, and I really needed to say my part, and I didn't want to listen to the other person because I was so afraid that I'll forget my point. And here's what I'm going to say to that if your point is so simple, then maybe